Our government is being run by idiots, a former reality TV host, former Fox host, and second-rate podcasters. I hate to put it so bluntly, but it's the damn truth. These people are incompetent, and that is the point. They want their incompetence to break the government so you don't trust the government and you stop paying attention to the government, even when it hurts one of their own. Even when Charlie Kirk, who they claim to care about, and claim is not just a political pawn, which he is for them, his assailant is still on the loose because of the incompetence of this administration. That was proven tonight as Kash Patel was unable to talk at an idiotic stunt that only showed the lies that he has told. We're going to get into it all, but before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button because it really does go a long way in supporting our work. Now, before we get into the monstrosity that was Kash Patel's behavior tonight, I want to start with the latest update, and that comes from Lawrence O'Donnell right here.
But Andrew Weissman, let me go first to you with your experience in the FBI and what we just listened to.
Well, in many ways, it is the blueprint that was set in the Boston bombing case, where you have this outreach to the public and the dissemination of information. It was striking to me that that was essentially the purpose of the press conference, was to get that out there to the public so that anybody with information about what he looks like, his T-shirt, his cap, his shoes, his backpack, all of that is something that they're looking for leads, and that obviously is something that the public can and should do. I did want to make a reference to something that people might not know about, because there's been a lot of reporting about having found the gun. And I want to make sure people understand, in this country, it can be very, very difficult to trace a gun to a perpetrator. Unlike a car, where when you have a car, we can know from soup to nuts when it came off the lot and every single owner who had it. That is prohibited in this country. So you can have
for guns, it's prohibited.
For guns, it is prohibited. You can figure out when the gun was manufactured, but it is very hit and miss if you can trace who has owned it. There are all sorts of loopholes. And so just having found the gun, it obviously can be useful. There can be information there. But it is not the case that there is a record in the same way that you would have for the VIN, the vehicle identification number, for a car, where you know exactly from person to person to person. So I just want to make sure people understand, because of the laws in this country, this investigation, or investigations like it, don't have necessarily the tools that you might have in other countries to do that kind of tracing.
Ken Delaney, we're continuing to run the video that was just released, which in effect was the entire purpose of this press briefing, was really just to release this video that they have been, obviously has been in their possession for quite a while. They were ready to do this apparently much earlier in the day today. Any indication of why this was delayed so long, given, as Andrew says, they wanted to get this information out to the public? They've had it for quite a while. The public could have seen this many, many, many hours ago.
That's right, Lawrence. Well, one reason was stated fairly explicitly by Utah officials hours ago, which is that they were waiting for Kash Patel, the FBI director, and Dan Bongino, his deputy, to land in the FBI jet so that they could attend this news conference, and where they didn't speak and they stood in the background. And there's also, it's a bit perplexing because they did say earlier in the day that they were going to have a briefing at around 2:45.
The most important time in an investigation is the first 24 hours. And what did Kash Patel do during that time? He tweeted lies. He said that they had caught the assailant. They hadn't. He backtracked. He posted. He bungled an investigation because he was more focused on likes on Twitter and publicity than he was doing his damn job. How long did it take him to get to Utah? For God's sakes, J.D. Vance was there before Kash Patel. What even does he do in this job? It seems like all his time is spent at the club from the reporting that we've heard. And maybe it's the reason he was at a loss for words. Because at this press conference, the director of the FBI had a whole bunch of nothing to say.
Sorry about that.
Kash Patel uttered 0 words. None. 0. The big tough guy. We're supposed to have any faith in this administration? We're supposed to trust what they say? Kash Patel said they had caught the assailant. That wasn't true. The right is reporting this narrative that there was transgender insignia, whatever that means, on the munitions. That report is allegedly false, made up, misconstrued. And we're supposed to trust these people? We're supposed to think that they know what they're doing, that they know what they're talking about? Of course they don't. Of course they don't. And that's part of the point. When asked about what they do know, listen to what they said.
I know you can't say too much here, but is it your understanding that this individual may be close by or still in Utah?
We have no idea. We're exploring leads for individuals out of state and individuals that live close by. We literally have persons of interest, tips coming in on the tip line that are spanning far and wide.
No idea. Not a clue. This is why it has been so difficult for me to hear those on the right demand that the left apologizes, demand that we take accountability, demand that we have empathy. Empathy, by the way, something Charlie Kirk said didn't exist. He said it was a new age concept he thought was stupid and damaging, empathy. So if you want to live by Charlie Kirk's values, by the way, Republicans, we don't have to have empathy. Sorry. Clearly, you don't. All the clips of Charlie Kirk have resurfaced. Seen a lot of them go viral right now. There is one in which he denies the truth that children across America go to bed hungry every night and says that the problem isn't hunger in America for our children, tens of millions of which are living in poverty. The problem is obesity, that we're not limiting what we feed our kids. Pro-life doesn't care about hungry kids. Charlie Kirk will tell you not to go to college. He'll also starve your kids. And by the way, the number one indicator of performance in school for a child isn't what Charlie Kirk would have jumped to say probably and said race, said something racist and bigoted. No, the number one indicator of performance, of a kid's performance in school, is whether or not they had breakfast or lunch that day. That is the difference in shaping a child's life, is if you provide them with a meal. Let them eat. Even the smallest little bit of nutrition can stand in the way of a child's success. And that guy said, get the government out of my pocketbook. We don't need to do that. Big government doesn't need to feed kids. That's ridiculous. So spare me. Sorry. Spare me the tears. Not coming from me. Sorry about that. This administration fundamentally doesn't care. You're not going to get me to. They have demonstrated time and time again that they have no regard for basic humanity, for loss of life, and clearly they don't know how to run their own FBI. So it's not going to be easy to get you to make me feel bad. When they have put in place and broken systems to keep us safe, and now it matters that it's one of their own? I don't know. Maybe I am ranting and raving a little bit too much. Maybe the passions come over me. But someone who I think gave a great response and who makes me feel a lot better about what we've seen unfold over these past many hours is AOC right here.
Are we going to do something, or are we going to argue over rhetoric? That is my question about this. We have to pass gun safety legislation and stop this.
What one congresswoman was saying, was yelling at Republicans, said that it was Democrats' fault. Democrats did this. That's what we were saying.
I mean, People can finger point all they want. Look at the record. Look at the actions of what we are doing. I don't think a single person who has dedicated their entire career to preventing gun safety legislation from getting passed in this House has any right to blame anybody else but themselves for what is happening. We have to stop this. We can stop this. And why don't we start by acknowledging that basic common sense gun safety legislation is not taking away a gun, is not attacking the Second Amendment, but it is about ensuring the safety of our children, of women, of people across this country, to ensure that guns and firearms do not get in the hands of people who are going to use them against human beings, period. Domestic violence is one of the highest indicators of whether a person is going to kill someone else with a gun or not. There are so many other indicators, and I think it is so deeply important that when a politician tries to blame words for inaction, they need to look at their action and their record. Enough of this. This is horrific. This is awful. And the assassination of Charlie Kirk risks an uncorking of political chaos and violence that we cannot risk in America. We cannot risk it.
Congressman,
thank
given
you.
the political temperature, are you worried about holding events in public now?
I think that, of course, it's a natural consequence to see this and to be worried about this. And I think, but what is most important is the fact that we've gotten to this place, and we need to figure out what we can do to ensure that every American can feel safe going to a public event. Thank you.
Thank you, Congresswoman.
What a tremendous failure and embarrassment this has all been. Truly an embarrassment that we have, in the same breath, right-wing host on cable news, of course the activists online, say that we need to quiet the rhetoric of the left while they declare war on us for wanting to feed children and give people health care and housing. Lock me up. I want to use public funds to feed and house the public. Lock me up. It's disgraceful. And we're going to keep calling them out. It's a little late when I'm posting this, so maybe I'm a little all over the place, but I'm just furious. And if you want to continue to engage in hopefully what I think is a little bit of righteous anger right now, you can hit that subscribe button, leave a like on this video, and if you stuck around to the end, drop a blue heart in the comments. And until next time, I'll see you soon.